Hi everyone, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. I talked about how earthquakes, many miles away, sometimes halfway around the world, can affect the movement of the plates. And we got that going on with the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and its pull-apart basin. Grindavik, there in Iceland, is being evacuated after a fissure has opened up in the southwest, endangering the town and prompting the closure of the popular Blue Lagoon tourist destination once again. This is the 11th eruption to shake the country's Reykjanes Peninsula since 2001. Iceland is facing a period of intense geological activity. Aerial videos released by the authorities showed lava snaking along the ground as white clouds billowed into the air after the eruption, which started at 9:45 a.m. local time. It got drawn out, many of the earthquakes, and it's on the western side of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Emergency alarms blared in the town and officials went door to door. There's about 40 houses that were registered as occupied. There's a lot more, but many people have left. By noon local time, the town was declared completely emptied. A fissure had grown to about 3/4 of a mile long by 12:30 p.m. local time, and this town is in the path of the lava. The poor people. Here's a map from the Icelandic Meteorological Group showing all the earthquakes, and you notice most of them are on the western side. Iceland sits atop the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, a divergent boundary where the North American plate and the Eurasian plate are pulling apart at a rate of about 2 centimeters per year. This tectonic setting drives significant geological activity, including the earthquakes and magma eruptions, as a plate's movement creates tension in the crust. The spreading isn't uniform across the island. It's most pronounced in the rift zones like the Eastern Volcanic Zone and the Northern Volcanic Zone, where new crust forms as the magma rises to fill in the gaps. However, this divergence also interacts with the transform faults, zones where the plates slide past each other, leading to additional seismic activity. This divergent plate boundary, combined with the influence of Iceland's hot spot, a plume of hot mantle material beneath the island, drives significant geological activity, include earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Grindavik, a small fishing town on the Reykjanes Peninsula in the southwestern Iceland, lies directly within this active zone, making it particularly susceptible to seismic and volcanic events. The Reykjanes Peninsula is part of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge system, where the plates' separation creates pathways for magma to rise, often triggering earthquakes as the crust adjusts to the stress. And the Grindavik area, seismic activity is frequently linked to magma movement beneath the surface, especially at one of the nearby volcanoes. The earthquakes around Grindavik are primarily tectonic, driven by plate movement, and volcanic, caused by the magma pushing through the crust. Tectonic stress builds as the plates pull apart, occasionally releasing energy along faults, while volcanic earthquakes occur when magma fractures the surrounding rock. This dual mechanism explains why the area sees both isolated larger earthquakes and prolonged swarms, which currently they're having. The hazard is compounded by the potential for lava flows, sinkholes, and fault movement, which have led to evacuations, which they did today, and structural damage in the town, including cracked roads and buildings. And they just so happened to build their town of Grindavik right smack dab where this interaction, the plate movement, The separation is ongoing. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge stretches all the way across the Earth. And here is some of the larger earthquakes that they've recently had. Like I said, it's kind of like a domino effect. One day ago, they had a magnitude 5.2. I believe that might be, no, that's a 4.9. Okay, and let's see, we had about a 6.6. Let me go through these and find them. 4.6. Here we got a 5.7. That was just 2 months ago. All right, right there is the magnitude 6.6. And I'll go to Google Earth, and I'm going to bring this out, show you the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Bring it down, bring it out. Here we got Iceland, we got Greenland, and this here is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. You can see we got lots of earthquakes here. Now these were back in 2023. It was there, and then we'll bring it down. I'll have to bring it out a little bit for you. Here's the magnitude 6.6 that occurred on the 28th, and we'll go to the moment tensor ball. You can see we got spreading here. Yeah, the whole area is spreading. The whole Mid-Atlantic Ridge is moving. So it's probably easier for me to go into the coordinates and just go to that location. Okay, right down here. So we have a magnitude 6.6. They revised the location, but it's so close to where it occurred at. These are all spreading centers. Okay, so we got South America over here, and we got Africa over there. And you can see what I do have drawn out. Yeah, the tectonic plates are on the move. And then going closer to some of the earthquakes. These are only the earthquakes that I mapped out that happened within the last hour. Yeah, you can see it. They're all on the opposite side. And this is all moving westward. Big changes coming to Earth here. And it's going to create pressure. Let me bring it out a little bit farther because, yeah, we got some here on this side. And then, yeah, on the west side, we got the North American plate. And I got arrows drawn out for different locations and the movement. Yeah. As our Earth's magnetic field gets weaker and weaker, we're going to see more and more of these earthquakes. Yeah, and volcanic eruptions. Yeah, the poor people there. Yeah, when they settled, they probably didn't know they were smack dab on top of the boundary of the divergent where the Iceland is being split literally in half. Sending prayers. Yeah, just, you don't need this kind of baloney to restart, rebuild. Yeah, over and over and over. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.